right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. And today on the show, bum bum bum, we're talking about Song Sung Blue, the movie about the Neil Diamond impersonator. And I know some people thought this movie wasn't all that, but you know what? I had a blast with it. My wife Gina, she loved it too, and so did my guest for the episode, Joe Black, returning to the show. We have a lot of great puzzle pieces to get into. It's going to be a fun one. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. With that said, let's get into Song Sung Blue. Joe Black is with us. We're going to talk about Song Sung Blue. This is probably the, I think, last 2025 movie I'm covering on the podcast. Joe, you love this movie, huh?
I did. It was the last 2025 movie that I saw,
All
actually, in 2025.
Sure.
So, yeah, I saw it with the whole family on a day after Christmas, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, terrific movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrific.
I had a blast with it as well. I watched it, unfortunately, on a screener at home, although me and Gina had a great time with it. I wish I had seen it in a theater with people, and I bet it would have been a lot of fun. But I feel like before we start getting into puzzle pieces and all that stuff, are you a Neil Diamond guy? I'll say right now, yes, I am. I love him, of course. I don't see how anybody couldn't, but are you?
Yeah, I am. And I think part of that, though, has to do with, like, when I was growing up, like, the movies that were coming out, like, throughout that decade, he was, like, used a lot, not just, like, infamously in, like, Saving Silverman or something, but, like, even in Pulp Fiction, that being a Neil Diamond song. And then,
Mhm.
like, if you remember, what was that David Spade movie where at the end he's, like, dressed up as Neil Diamond? Pack up the ladies and grab the old lady. Yeah, like, yeah, he was kinda like, it was like that retro resurgence he had, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And also got a lot of family up from Rhode Island, so a lot of Red Sox fans, and you can't, be a Red Sox fan without Sweet Caroline
Sure.
being.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, big on him, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, and that's actually a funny point though, that like during that kind of era that we were watching all these comedies, he was kind of a fixture. At least his presence was in a lot of these movies. Maybe some will come up as puzzle pieces even, but for me it was his 12 Songs album that was produced by Rick Rubin, which I was working for Sony at the time that came out, and so we were promoting it, and I was like, Neil Diamond, like, that guy, like, but then that album came out, and it was just like, oh, okay, Neil Diamond. Hell yeah. I'm in. I'm in. This rocks. But
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
So
Jewish too, so I mean, I think you automatically, like, at birth, are assigned to be a Neil Diamond fan, right? Like, that's
yes,
the thing. Jewish
absolutely.
Elvis, they call him.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
yeah, his image is just like, embroiled in like you get like needle points of him and everything, like, everywhere you look. So yeah.
sure, sure. Well, I'm not Jewish, but I prefer him to Elvis. So how's that?
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Well, let's start getting into the puzzle pieces, Joe. What do you got for your first one?
Saving Silverman. I said it first.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, when I first heard this, I was like, why do it's the same thing I felt about Shakespeare in Love and Hamnet. I
Mhm.
was like, why do the not funny version of that story?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
like, a bunch of, people doing a Neil Diamond tribute band, but unlike Hamnet, I did see this one because Craig Brewer, I was not going to see this movie. I do not care for Hugh Jackman or Kate Hudson, you know what I mean? And the story is like, but then I see Craig Brewer's name at the end of the trailer, and I'm like, damn it, I guess I'm gonna have to go see this movie
Yeah.
because yeah, I'm kind of an acolyte of his, you know what I mean? Even though he did Coming to America, that's okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, I know, but I mean, he made Black Snake moan, so that's a pass for life.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those like pass for life kind of movies. Like
Yeah.
anything you. And my second date with my wife was actually my future wife was um Dolomite is my name. A double
Hell
feature.
yeah.
Dolomite is my name, and Bowfinger at the Egyptian Theater.
All right.
Um, but yeah, Saving Silverman is one of those. Man, before the internet, movies like Saving Silverman, they felt like your movie.
Mhm.
Like, this is my movie. Me and my buddies, we like this movie. And then, you get on the internet and you find like, oh no, it's just everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody your age likes Saving Silverman.
Yeah.
And also one of the rare occasions where the R-rated version is actually maybe better.
I don't know if so the theatrical was not the R-rated? I don't
No,
recall.
no, it's PG-13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's not super different, but it's different enough. There's a little more Subway stuff with Jack Black's character and things like
Okay.
that,
Alright.
Steve Zahn, like, talk about, like, a forgotten national treasure.
Mhm.
Like, he's just so terrific. But yeah, Saving Silverman, there has to be that had to be a little bit of, like, the impetus here. Like, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
because that they did what other movies, like, don't do, is that Neil Diamond actually is cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's a big silly movie where they're wearing the sequin shirts and things like that, you know what I mean? Like, he is cool, and he's in that one. I was a little bummed he wasn't in this one too, but that's alright.
Yeah, I mean, his health isn't really too great lately, and so I think that's probably a big part of why he wasn't in it. But that being said, Saving Silverman, yeah, had to have been a part of the influence here, and I would think that at every turn, Craig Brewer is probably like, well, people are going to compare this movie to Saving Silverman, so we better at least like do a rewatch or something, like
Absolutely.
be familiar with it going in. Since you kicked it off with Jack Black, I'm gonna stay with Jack Black and go with School of Rock for my first puzzle piece here. As far
Mm.
as just a fun, heartwarming story about the power of music and doing it in a sincere way where it's just like music is awesome. We love music. Yeah, it's a little kitschy, it's a little silly at times, but we love it and it just kind of makes everything better. School of Rock, I think, is a movie that like really like zeroes in on that feeling and does it so well. And Jack Black just as always just balls to the wall performance and so much fun to watch. And so yeah, I mean you get that so much here with Song Sung Blue. And I know you said that you weren't like a big fan of Hugh Jackman or Kate Hudson going in, but I think they both like radiate with that energy of just that love of music and what it brings.
Oh, yeah, what I'll say is that Kate Hudson has never been even close to this good in a movie before.
Sure.
She's so incredible in this, and, I mean, Hugh Jackman, does his job. He says his lines, doesn't bump into nothing, but if he was as good as she was in this movie, if his performance was as strong as hers, this would have been, like, like, a sure contender for Best Picture.
Hmm.
Like, truly, he's not bad in it. He's good. It's fine. He's fine, but he doesn't have that extra bit of like, wow, like he really went there like she did. Like, and you can almost see it in her, like in interviews and stuff. She seems different after doing the movie. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like it almost seems transformative. But back to School of Rock. School of Rock is like watching like the Super Bowl, right? And your home team is in the Super Bowl, and by the end of the third quarter, they're up 42 to nothing,
Mhm.
and then they still lose. Like, because that movie, up until the parent-teacher night, the
Mhm.
parent-teacher conference where he is, like, so incredible. Like, just absolutely like a slobber knocker of a timeless family classic, and then everything from that moment on is, like, horrendously bad.
Oh.
Like, him getting chased out of there, I'm sorry, the police were after him, you can't just go home,
Mm.
and then, like, there's no teacher in the classroom with all of those kids, then they get on the bus and they go pick him up. What are you talking? And then, like, they go to a rock show in the middle of the day on a Friday or something, like, it's just, like, it's so funny because, like, I'm pretty easygoing on movies, like, when they're like, "We gotta soundproof the room," and they just put some, like, pillows on the thing, I'm like, "I buy it.
Mhm.
Sure." You know what I mean? You gave me that. But they got so lazy in the last 20 minutes of that 20, 30 minutes of that movie that I remember I hadn't seen it for like a decade and they played it at the New Beverly. I go to see it and I'm watching it. I'm like, why is this not like a classic? Why is this not something that, is talked about up there with like Home Alone and you know what I mean? Like just an absolute and then that last 20 minutes happens and I went, that's why.
Jeez, and
That's
I
why.
haven't seen it in a long time myself, and so I'm wondering if any of that would annoy me as a more seasoned movie fan at this point. But at the time, though, I don't remember any of that, and I don't remember any of that being a problem for me.
We were also
So
wrapped up in the fever of Jack Black at the time, you know what I
sure.
mean? He was like the Mick G to Jim Carrey's Michael Bay, you know what I mean? Where he was like a pop culture one of a kind sensation, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? But he didn't quite reach the heights of Jim Carrey, but see that's another thing like getting older, you can see the difference.
yeah,
You know what I mean? In what Jim Carrey's doing and what Jack Black is doing. You,
yeah.
you, you know what I'm saying? I actually think that new Anaconda movie he did was just unwatchably bad, But I did think that it could have benefited actually from, instead of Paul Rudd, having Jason Biggs and bringing the 3 Saving Silverman guys back. I think that would have been
Oh,
a better movie.
that could have
I
been
also would
fun.
have made Jack Black the failed actor instead of Paul Rudd. Like, I would have had Jack Black be the failed actor.
I think they were trying to call back to King Kong, right? And his Carl Denham
Yeah, but
performance.
see, that was the end of Jack Black, because that was his chance and he didn't come through
Yeah.
when he did King Kong. You know, he didn't home run it. But see, like Anaconda, a little bit of but you'll like this. The big problem with that terrible movie is that, like, you don't give a fuck about any of them in any way. They're
Mm-hmm.
not funny or interesting. If Jack Black had been the failed actor and make him a good actor, right? Like, if he's a good actor who never got his big break because he looks like Jack Black,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, but then at the beginning, he's on the show, but he's a really good actor. And he's so good, in fact, that even in his one bit line, he's showing up the lead actor of the show. So he gets fired off of the show. Like, you know, even his one, like, then we're with this character. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Where we
yeah.
actually want to see, you know, I rewrote Anaconda on the way from the theater to my car
Yeah.
in the parking lot. Like, that movie could have been a terrific comeback to comedy, and it was, man, like, oh, that was one of the worst going experiences I had all year
I,
last year.
I have not seen it yet, and
Oh,
honestly, I don't have high
don't.
hopes. So
I know that you like the original, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dude, this movie, you talk about not doing the homework. It's like an hour and 40-minute version of the third act of School of Rock. It's really, like,
God.
just nothing. Unlike Song Sung Blue. Back to Song
Yeah.
Sung Blue.
So back to Song Sun Blue. Absolutely. Let's go to another puzzle piece. What do you got?
Oh, another puzzle piece. I know Walk the Line.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, I think I've talked about this on your show before, that Walk the Line is actually probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Like, and as far as the screenplay goes, you know, I still think of myself primarily as a writer first. You know what I mean? Over director and whatever else I do in movies. I think of myself as a writer, and that screenplay to me is like the gold star standard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is for drama or romance or biopics, whatever. That's like what Die Hard, the screenplay, is to action movies. Like, it's so perfect that it had to be spoofed. You know
Yeah.
what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
seriously, there are certain lines in that movie that are, like, so profound, like, and they're so simple. Like, when he shows up all drunk to June Carter's house and he's like, "I'm on walking's good for you, June. I'm on the love walk, the June Carter love walk in memoriam." Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a and what's cool about that movie is that, unlike all the other biopics that have come before and after, other than Coal Miner's Daughter, which is another masterpiece, but all the ones that have come since, especially, is that Walk the Line, more than any of those, actually doesn't try to make the leads more likable or more, you know, like, Johnny Cash is a bastard in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And June
Yeah.
Carter is kind of like, taking on abuse throughout the whole thing. Like, that movie actually goes harder than it gets credit for, but it's so bursting with love, not only between the two of them, but with the way that James Mangold made that movie, that, like, we don't come at them from that kind of judgment. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
understand them fully as humans. And I think that that's one of Craig Brewer's, like, strengths as a filmmaker too, which is, like, you look at a movie like he did, like Black Snake Moan. Black Snake Moan could have just been like the sexploitation Christina Ricci chain to a Radiator movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the humanity of that movie is, it's almost like it's poetry, you know? And I think that this is the closest he's gotten to that since Black Snake Moan with this movie, that he was able to take these kind of, like, he did not oversell these people in any way. Their accomplishments were not, like, they were so human and blue collar and normal and straightforward, that even when he's got Hugh Jackman walking around in his underwear, it's funny, but at the same time, you're like, man, that does look comfortable. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, fuck it, you know? And not being afraid of that is what makes all the difference. You know what I mean? If you ever see a movie, especially a biopic, that feels cliched or paint by numbers, like the fucking that awful Bruce Springsteen movie, it's because the people who made it were afraid to tell the truth. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Bohemian Rhapsody, the biggest sinner of all of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Sure.
Um, So, that's why I treasure Craig Brewer. And again, it doesn't matter what he makes for life. I will go see any Craig Brewer movie. Same thing with James Mangold.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't really loved a Mangold movie in a long time, I'll see anything he does.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just stay with Craig Brewer because I am going with Hustle and Flow for my next one because this really is kind of hustle and flow for white people. It's like it's people in poverty with all these problems, but it's all made better by the power of music and community. And music, of course, brings people together and helps create that community. And that, if nothing else, I mean, that's what Hustle and Flow is. It's this situation in which people have nothing else but music. Like that's really it. Like that's what's there to make them better. It's what's there to help them come together and have friends and have family and have some kind of chance at something greater than their current circumstances. And Hustle and Flow is so much fun to watch them figuring out music, and here it's just as fun to watch them.
Yeah, I mean, Hustle and Flow is like a miracle movie,
Yeah.
like truly nothing else like it. And I would actually argue that if you go back now, I mean, Terrence Howard and Taraji P Henson, they're so famous now.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch that movie. They are two completely different actors back then.
Mm.
It was before the ego, before the accolades. They are so human and raw and in it in that movie. That movie is like it's so much better than Black Snake Moan, but at the same time, I like Black Snake Moan more just because I like what Black Snake Moan is doing is more creatively interesting to me, like
Mm-hmm.
for me, even though, but you call Hustle and Flow, this movie is Hustle and Flow for white people. I would say Song Sung Blue is Black Snake Moan for moms. That's how I put it.
Okay.
But 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 no, but what's interesting about Craig Brewer is that he kind of is. I mean, I don't know how much you know about Craig Brewer, but even if you know this, maybe the audience doesn't know it. That Craig Brewer actually got his start. He made a movie. His like dad died and left him, a little bit of money, and he got just a home video camera, and he made essentially a home movie called Poor and the Hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about
I
this?
don't know.
Made for $0, shot on a handy cam, mini DV movie, made it in black and white, with no names, and it's long too. It's like a 2-hour movie. And he got it in, I don't know if it was Sundance. I think it was like Slam Dance. This is a film festival. Anyways, John Singleton saw it. And John Singleton, of Boys in the Hood, John Singleton and Four Brothers,
Oh
he
yeah.
saw it and he said, this guy, the only difference between what he's doing and what a professional filmmaker is doing is resources,
Mm-hmm.
is money. So John Singleton actually like took him under his wing and helped develop Hustle and Flow for him off of that movie.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Off of this like, zero budget, home video
That's the indie
movie that he made.
filmmaking dream right there,
It
basically.
really is. It really truly is. Oh, don't I know it
Mm-hmm.
truly is. Um, but you kind of feel that too in and that's what happens in Hustle and Flow as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like he makes that music and it's like a local thing, but then like a rapper hears it and wants it, and it turns into this whole. I mean, that one takes a bit of a darker turn,
Sure.
but I would say that Song Sung Blue um, does something very similar. It's about a similar scenario, which is why I could see somebody like Craig Brewer championing these people because they are like the only difference between what they're doing and what someone else is doing are the resources.
Yeah.
The more that they're given, the better what they do is.
Yeah.
And he really believes in people in a way that you truly believe in. If you truly believe in people, is magnetic and electric.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And that's
that's
something
that
that's missing from all of those music biopics is like none of
right.
them, they all are just like playing hits basically because they know the audience will just kind of eat it up. They don't really seem to care about the person at the center of that music, really.
Yes, and here's the thing, I am admittedly I'm a sucker for a biopic. I see them all.
Mm-hmm.
The Milli Vanilli one, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I see them all. I don't really ever like them,
Yeah.
but I see them all. But I will say there is one that recently did that um was the Amy Winehouse movie,
Mm.
the Back to Black.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that movie.
No, I think you
But
were
I
the
was
only person in the world who liked it, right?
No. Me
Okay.
and Kat both liked it.
Okay. So that's two
But
people. All right.
but to be fair, we saw a test screening of it,
Hmm.
and I thought it was like transcendently brilliant,
Mm.
like truly brilliant. It reminded me a lot of A Better Man, which was also phenomenal.
Oh, love that.
But unlike Better Man, it didn't have a gimmick. It was
Right.
just good, solid storytelling. Even the way that they design her performances, if you didn't see it, you said, right?
No, I didn't.
The way that they design her performances in the movie, I think you'll think this is really cool, is the first time you ever see her perform in the movie, she's just in her bedroom by herself and she does a full song by herself in the bedroom. The next time you see her, she's doing an open mic. The next time you see her, she's performing like with a little bit of backing from whatever. Then the next time you see her, she's in a studio. And that's the only time in the entire film where they use an actual recording of an Amy Winehouse song,
Mm.
and it's when she records Back to Black. Then for the rest of the movie, as her life spirals down, her shows get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then in the finale is her biggest show when we know like the end is nigh. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. That's a pretty simple idea. You know what I mean? But A, have you ever seen it before? B, at least it's a fucking idea.
Yeah.
And
Right. It's
most of these
something.
biopics don't even have that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We had so many good things to say about it in the focus group afterward. The producers came up and thanked us. They were,
Of
they were
course.
like, "You guys really got it."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I highly recommend that Amy Winehouse movie, Back to Black. I haven't seen the final cut. I own it.
Hmm.
I own it. I bought it. But like, as long as they didn't fuck with it, I couldn't recommend that movie more, or A Better Man. I think both
Yeah.
are
Better Man rules, and maybe one day I'll check out that Amy Winehouse movie. But
I actually think you would
yeah,
genuinely not only enjoy it, but I think you would be glad you saw it.
the way that you talk about it, it does sound good. So I'm gonna check it out
Mm.
sometime. But what do you got for your next piece?
It's a weird one. Mr. Lonely,
Mr. Lonely. That's
Harmony Korine.
right, right, yeah. Okay.
It's a movie about, impersonators who go off to a little island of impersonators and are like, kind of lonely messes,
Yeah.
but in only a way that Harmony Korine can do it, with nuns falling out of airplanes doing bicycle tricks and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Diego Luna is like a Michael Jackson impersonator, and that a Marilyn Monroe impersonator brings him to like a little island of impersonators and,
Uh-huh.
people who are afraid to be themselves. And, but again, like if you were to talk about the movie, it sounds a little more conventional than it actually is, given that it's a Harmony Korine movie.
Sure.
And as you and the other people who listen to our episodes know, I'm a huge Harmony Korine fan.
Oh yeah.
Almost an apologist. Almost an apologist, for fuck's sake. I was like, Baby Invasion, best movie of 2025.
Yeah, right.
But Mr. Lonely is one that I could not get through
Mm.
for many reasons. Once it gets to them all chanting at the Pope impersonator that the Pope stinks, I was like, what are we doing? Um, but I do like it is kind of a cool, trippy, like doomed, lonely love story, and this one could not be more different. And I think it's further proof that like this movie's not like an easygoing movie. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's pretty. The second half, the second half gets real.
Yeah.
And and that ending, the ending's no joke. But at the same time, it doesn't like lose itself. It doesn't. It's
Right.
really hard to pull off an ending like this and still have people like wanting to see it again and loving it. And you know what I mean? Like it's hard to. And Craig Brewer makes it look so damn easy.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Well, it's interesting too because like you're bringing up, how it gets dark in the second half, and like I thought that was a little overstated by reviews and people like because I went into this movie, I thought the trailer looked fantastic and I was so excited for this, and then the reviews started coming out and people were talking about how it's like actually not a good time. And I was like, "Oh no, is this gonna just be like some Oscar bait, like where everything gets super sad?" And then I watched the movie and like, yeah, it does get a little dark, but like I thought it stayed like a fun movie even through all of
Sure.
the difficult things that happen to this family. So yeah, I
That's
don't know.
the
I didn't think it
inescapable
got too
truth of
bad.
life, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the inescapable truth of life. That like, here's the thing. Like, that's why I hate so many of those movies that you love so much. All those like downer movies, all those that we prod each other about, like your little Charlie Kaufman,
Hmm.
wah 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 fest. It's like,
Uh-huh.
dude, the undeniable truth is that the only reason that like pain or death or loss is sad is because there was something that you lost that was worth having,
Mm-hmm.
that was worth experiencing, that was worth being a part of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like as long as you just accept that as part of the deal and go in knowing it, man, you can't fucking lose.
Yeah.
Like you're not afraid of sadness anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I got in I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast, but I got into, a car accident last year that was pretty bad. I was clipped on the freeway. We were doing like 60 or so down the freeway, and I got clipped and by this other car who just jabbed into my lane. She hit me so hard that we flew into the wall. My car bounced back off onto the freeway. Her car flipped over the wall.
Hmm.
And unfortunately she did not survive. She didn't survive. She was 80 years old.
God.
Um, and
Awful.
I got out of I was able to make my way out of the car um, by myself, like on my own. I was able to get out of there. I was scraped and bumped and bruised. My knee was all kind of messed up, but nothing broken, nothing, you know what I mean? I got out of that car and, usually when something like that happens, like, for a lot of people, you reevaluate, you reassess, you're able to see life in a new way or, whatever, however you want to talk about it. And I was talking to my wife that like, I didn't really have that. Like, I didn't have some kind of like grand epiphany or didn't see things in a new way afterward. And I was feeling kind of wonky about that. And it's very, my wife told me, she said, it's because that's already how you see life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like truly, like for me, like I live, I try to live through a lens of gratitude. You know what I mean? And that way, like when all the horrible things, like whether it's death or loss or betrayal or failure or whatever come your way, like as long as you're just grateful, then you don't have an ego or expectation or a demand or you know what I mean? And I think that that's something that Song Sung Blue does so well that it's
Yeah.
like that ending, that Hugh Jackman ending, with him on the videotape and all that. I mean, like that's just like it's such a mic drop because it's like, man, I just made 3 movies in a row that are about that. You had the balls to just like say it.
Yeah.
Like, who
Right.
the fuck do you think you are, Craig Brewer? Um, so like I really do think that like that's the perspective that I as a person, as an audience, as an artist, I just see so much more value in that
Mm-hmm.
versus the people like, and like the people who make things, and I hate talking shit about the people you like because that's not my intention. But, fuck Charlie Kaufman. But like because it's like,
Oh.
like you made Anomalisa, you spent like, $30 million and a crew of thousands of people to make another movie about how you're rich and sad now.
He's very
It's like,
sad.
well, yeah, but like, dude, like can't you do something for somebody else? Like, can't you appreciate the fact that like 1,000 people and $30 million are going towards something that you thought of? Like, even if you're just thinking of it from the perspective of like, wow, because of this thing that I created, 1,000 people now have a job for a year. Like, that's a fucking win, man. And like, you can do anything at that point. You can make a story that has like Song Sung Blue about people losing limbs and dreams never achieved or, life lost or whatever. But like I find more truth in this movie's perspective than in things like, like his work. Again, it's one of the reasons why I love Craig Brewer so much.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe if Charlie ever gets another chance to make a movie, maybe it'll be one you like. So we'll see.
I mean, I love adaptation,
Good.
like
Good.
like look, I would never deny the talent or creativity, you know what I mean, of like somebody like him. You know what I mean? Like that's not the argument. And that's why you can't win it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, he's
Sure.
very talented, he's very creative, and original and unique and interesting. And he's all those, but at the end of the day, is it valuable?
Mm-hmm.
And like it could be valuable in the like excitement, entertainment, amusement, whatever. But to me, I mean, especially, I mean, I'm not, I'm almost 4 decades in here, and to me, like, I don't see a lot of value in that.
Mm.
And I'd like to think it's because I'm getting older, but really, I've always been that
That's how
way. As
you've
much as I,
always, yeah, always
yeah,
been that
it
way.
it really is, and I'm trying to be less critical and upset by those things. Nowadays, really, I save my upset for incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
like Like, come on, man. Like, how is there that much light inside of that fucking Trojan horse? Like, I saw the Odyssey teaser. I'm
Uh-huh.
inside a fucking wooden horse, and it's just like bright ass lit, like a sitcom set. Like, what the hell, man? Why do we make excuses for this guy?
Yeah. I did not think we'd be taking shots at Christopher Nolan on this podcast, but I'll throw. Speaking of light, I'll throw another puzzle piece in here. It's called Blinded by the Light. It's a 2019 movie about a young Pakistani kid who, again, this kind of takes it back to some of the other things we've been talking about, but he gets through all of his issues and hard life and like all the things happening with his family and all this stuff with the power of Bruce Springsteen's music. It's a much better Bruce Springsteen movie than the new biopic that just came out, like you mentioned earlier, is terrible. It's very, very bad. But
Oh my god, like shockingly
yeah,
bad,
it's really not
actually.
good. But this movie was fun. Not great, but it was a fun movie though. Blinded by the Light. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but again,
No.
to the power of music, the power of what music can do for somebody, and in that case, it's strictly the power of Bruce Springsteen's music, whereas here it's strictly Neil Diamond's music. And obviously, we see it not just that they're performing his music, but the effect that that music has on them and how just joyous it is and how much it like brings to them and how much it gives them. And so I think there's a pretty big, clear, parallel between those two.
Yeah, I cannot stomach 1 ounce of Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
never, yeah, and I actually remember your review of the Bruce Springsteen movie, and I was like, "Man, fucking called out." Like, you did it so perfectly where you're like, it's a whole movie about him, like, not wanting to take credit, no press, no blah, 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 and, like, for this album, like, "We're not doing that," and then there's just a whole fucking movie about it,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, how noble you are for not," it's just about the music.
Yeah, totally.
But also, like, I watched that fucking movie when they do the Born in the USA sequence in that movie, and everyone's like, "Can you believe this?" I'm like, "It's like 2 chords and a drum, man." Yeah, I really can believe it. Like, um, yeah, like, put me in the room when Bombs Over Baghdad was made, okay? That's a moment where you go, "Whoa," you know what I mean?
I would like to
Um
see that movie. That would be great.
no, seriously, my wife and I went down a rabbit hole a couple months ago of like, that late 90s, early 2000s, especially like hip hop, pop music, shift that happened, Missy, Britney to Missy kind of era,
Hmm.
whatever. And, uh, and YouTube was just taking us down. We were just one after the other, listening to these bops. And then Bombs Over Baghdad came on. And in 30 seconds, I'm just like, what are we doing listening to this crap like, when this exists? This incredible the beginning of that music video where he just like calls all the kids out of like the government based housing and they just run through that purple field
It's so
like
good.
following him. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And motherfucker, that is pop music. So Bruce Springsteen never mind. But I'm not gonna go see a movie about somebody who's like, oh, Bruce Springsteen's the best. I'm just not gonna fucking do it. Like
Mm.
you couldn't have paid me to go see that movie. I'm surprised. That should tell you how much I like biopics is that I went and saw the Bruce Springsteen movie and I sat through the whole thing. Which
Hey.
you know me, I'm quick to walk out. I've walked out of 3 movies in the last month. Avatar, no thank you.
Mm.
But that fucking Bruce Springsteen movie, man, and it is there was another Bruce Springsteen based Thunder Road, right?
Oh,
Like
sure.
wasn't that
Yeah.
that was another, I understand why people like him, but I just find him to be real phony, man.
Mm.
My favorite part of the Bruce Springsteen movie was the subtitle that said Colts Neck, New Jersey. And that's only because I was just there a couple months ago and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Yeah,
Colts Neck,
nice. Right
shout
on.
out."
My favorite part was how many times he's eating at diners. That was the best part of the movie. Just
Oh,
constantly
dude,
eating at diners.
look, I've never seen The Bear.
Hmm.
And my wife watched all of Shameless, and I somehow managed to avoid the entire thing because when you're married, like
Yeah, yeah,
you end up seeing the show.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and I somehow managed to not see the show.
yeah.
Um, so my only experience with that one kid, what's his name? Uh,
Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White,
Yeah.
Jaw.
Hmm.
Um, my only experience with him was the fucking Iron Claw movie, and I remember and you know me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. You know what I mean? I've my newest tattoo is Mick Foley,
Oh, nice,
in the
nice.
Inherent Vice legs. Um, but uh, but Iron Claw, and he popped up on screen, and I know who he is at this point, you know what I mean, through the, whatever. And I see him on a bus. His first scene that he's on a bus, and it was good. I was like, wow, he's got a lot of presence. Like, I see why this kid's a star. Then he opened his mouth, and I was like, how is this kid a star?
No,
Like,
no.
now I've only seen these two things, you know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe the bear and whatever. He's like fucking mind blowingly good. I could believe it. But man, like, if I didn't think I could like Bruce Springsteen any less after that fucking movie, hoy, hoy.
Good thing we love Neil Diamond, and that's the movie that
Mhm.
we decided to talk about today. But any
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
puzzle pieces you want to bring up here?
I mean, the last one is like so obvious. It's another like, I mean, I think that it's a masterpiece. It's A Star Is Born.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very similar trajectory, you know what I mean? Like, he sees her, finds value in her, they form a bond, he ends up dying, she carries on the legacy. It's very, it's very and now Star Is Born does the one step that's even harder than what Craig Brewer is doing here is that they actually like they go into the pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this, like Song Sung Blue experiences the pain. It doesn't shy away from it, but Star Is Born confronts it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that ending of Star Is Born, man. I don't know how long it's been you've watched it. I know that was our first episode.
it
That's
was.
how you and I met.
Yeah.
Was I was recommended to you from Chad, um, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And my wife and I watched it a couple months ago, and that movie is just so like it's shocking. I can't believe Bradley Cooper chose to do that as his first movie because
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge fucking movie,
Yeah.
like huge. And then Maestro, which I adored, and I am 95% of the people who don't like it, I'm sure it's only because they didn't see it in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like the theatrical experience of Maestro is night and day different, even just in his sound design. You know what I mean? But that one was even fucking bigger.
Yeah.
Um, and I think he just knocked it out of the park both times. His newest one was that was bad.
A
Um,
mistake.
well, I mean, he made the mistake that every filmmaker who makes two giant epics makes. It's like I'm going to do a small one next. You know what I mean? And sometimes it works, very rarely. I mean, what's his name? Paul Thomas Anderson. He does Boogie Nights, huge. Magnolia, huge, and then Punch Drunk Love. I get it. I get the idea. The problem is that when you do that, you should probably have like even a decent script
Mm-hmm.
and a competent cast.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Will Arnett, you brought a bad script and a weak performance. Did you see that movie?
I still haven't seen it. No.
Dude, new rule of thumb for me, if I'm watching a story about a husband and wife who are going through a separation, possible divorce, if an hour into the movie, I still don't know what one of them does for a living, like, it bothered me, man. Like, I know what Laura Dern does for a living. That's her whole thing is that she was a professional volleyball player, like an Olympic level volleyball player who wants to get back into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Yeah, already I see that your face just like, "Brrr," but Will Arnett's character, I we stayed the runtime on that movie is an hour 50. We stayed about an hour 30 before I was like, I'm leaving. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I pulled a Manchester by the Sea. There's 20 minutes left, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I get it. But
You
like,
killed
I,
yourself with a
well,
cop's gun.
no, no, no. I just mean that. No, that's funny. I walked out of Manchester by the Sea 2 hours into it,
Yeah.
like knowing that there was 20 minutes left. I was like, I get it.
Good
But
movie, by the
but
way. Good movie.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't that it was bad. Unlike this one, this was bad. It's just that like 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, I understand what this movie is. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna go create.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this movie was more like I did 2 movies in a row. I wanted to catch them before I left town. I caught that and Marty Supreme before my wife and I left town. But the only showtimes we could get were the 9 a.m. showtimes.
Mm.
Because we wanted to see Marty Supreme in 70 millimeter. But yeah, Will Arnett's character, I know that they're separated, that they have a beautiful big house in the suburbs, and he has a fucking really nice apartment in the city, and he's doing stand up every night. What the fuck does this guy do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I would think that like marital problems, a lot of that would revolve around what they do. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like what their jobs are or whatever. Put in the homework, people. Back to A Star Is Born, masterpiece. Better than Song Sung Blue. But Song Sung Blue is the kind of movie that will get people back into movie theaters. theaters, because A Star Is Born is a lot more challenging and a lot more. There's a lot. It's more of a. It's more demanding.
Yeah,
It
I think that's
earns it.
fair.
It earns it for sure. Everybody, for the most part, people like that movie. You know what I mean? Love it even. But it's draining.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Song Sung Blue is a movie that, like, as soon as you're out, you're like, I want to see that again.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know, and they do it without getting truthy. They do it without compromising.
yeah.
Maybe it is better than Star is Born in that way.
It depends on how you
It's
look at it.
tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's like, but more so, like, that's what I keep telling people, man. It's the mid movies that are going to get people back into
Of
movie
course,
theaters. It's
absolutely.
the Beekeepers. It's the Song Sung Blue. You know what I mean? And God help us, it's the Anacondas.
And Primate,
All
which just came out at the time of this recording, and rocks.
Sure, that's what I mean though. Like, it's those kinds of movies, and like, the problem is that, like, those kinds of movies get so dismissed. The reason why Anaconda sucks is because they didn't put in the work, because everybody you could tell is like, "Oh, it's a fucking Anaconda movie. Who cares?"
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, the answer is, you could, and it's actually kind of more fun. You know what I mean? Like, we just shot this movie. I won't say what the movie is or whatever, and I helped out on it. And like, there's this scene where this car is driving into the woods, and then they're supposed to, like, end up at a cabin. And when the scene was shot where they ended up at the cabin, they didn't get a shot of the cabin for some reason. But later on, there was, like, they have an establishing shot of the cabin that they got. I went back to reshoot a second unit of this cabin, and I noticed that there's a wagon wheel leaning up against a tree next to this cabin we had filmed. And I'm like, oh, start the shot there and then dolly over to the cabin. That way we transition from a car wheel driving, you
Mhm.
transition to that wagon wheel, and now wheel to wheel and you're at the house. You know what I
Cool.
mean? And yeah, exactly. It's like, that took nothing
Yeah.
and it
But
made
it
it
was
more
an
fun.
idea though. It was something. It was doing
Exactly. It
something.
it got you from A to B in kind of a fun, creative way. You know what I mean? And like, that is the joy. I mean, you're fucking creating no matter what you do. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Fast and the Furious movie or whether it's, fucking Hamnet, you're creating something. So at the end of the day, don't you want to fully realize something? Don't you want to birth something out there that is this fully formed, functioning thing that you can actually admire, I don't know. And the answer to that is, let the people who want to make Anaconda that way, let them make Anaconda.
I feel like you
You,
squeezed in such a fast extra dig at Hamnet right there. I like barely even registered
I'm just real
it.
worried that it's going to get like a last, like a last minute, like, oomph to try to win some awards. And like,
Uh-huh.
I love Jesse Buckley, but like, again, that's another one of those, you could not pay me to go see Hamnet.
Yeah.
You're telling me you want me to see, like, this, like, the fucking depressing version of Shakespeare in Love that doesn't have Ben Affleck in it?
Mhm.
Pass. Hard pass. Like, no, thank you.
She's very good, but the movie is not. But
Yeah, of course
anyway,
not.
final puzzle piece from me, and just a small one. But I was thinking a little bit about both Wayne's World and Bill and Ted. Just small town goofs that are just inspired by rock and roll. These are
Mm.
two different duos, and here we get a third duo that all are just like, they don't really have a lot going for them, but they've got music, and music is brings them together and it makes them happy. And it takes us back to something like Hustle and Flow, like we already talked about. It's like people being brought together by the power of music, and just how much fun it is to enjoy music together. And it's also something that we haven't really talked about yet, is all of these fun side characters, the other impersonators that they
Mhm.
hang out with in Song Song Blue. That also kind of takes you to some of like these side characters, all these other rock guys in Wayne's World and stuff like that. And so a lot of that kind of world of rock music and the kinds of characters that inhabit them. I think you see a lot of that through all of these movies.
I think the oldest I've ever felt watching a movie is when I see, little Spider from Goodfellas as a late middle-aged Buddy Holly impersonator. I was just like,
Amazing.
"Whoa!" Like, damn, it's happening, huh? The change is happening.
A
We are old.
wild.
Yeah, they were all great. The James Brown guy, especially, man.
Oh yeah, he was
Wow,
so
like,
good. Yeah.
talk about doing a lot with a little. You know what I mean? Everyone in this movie. I mean, I normally think that Jim Belushi is like the death note of a movie, and he could not have been better in this. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, but again, you look at all these characters, they all love each other. And that's the secret to Wayne and that's the secret to Wayne and Garth, and the secret to Bill and Ted.
Sure.
I mean, even more so than the other duos, like Cheech and Chong don't love each other. Even Jay and Silent Bob don't like love each other. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? But like Wayne and Garth do. And Bill and Ted. The cool thing about Bill and Ted, watch both of those movies. I think we should do a study on this. I'm pretty sure they're the only like buddy duo in like history that never have a falling out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've never had a falling out in any of their movies. There's never like, we're not friends anymore. Or like none of that. They never separate, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and again, that's important. And same thing with Thunder and Lightning, like same thing. Like she tried to push him away, and it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I
And you
mean?
could tell that she doesn't want to push him away. She's just like so wallowing at that moment. Like it's just she's going through a lot. But yeah.
Life can be hard, man. You know what I mean? But life is worth living, especially because we don't have any other choice.
Yeah, sure.
Like you got one of two options, you know what I mean? And we don't know what the other one is. This one, it could be pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Like we at least know that. And again, Kate Hudson, what she brought to that movie, that was last year, 2025 was so enlightening for me because there were so many things that surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first good Wes Anderson movie in 15 years, the
Yeah.
first good Darren Aronofsky movie maybe ever, like, the first good Mission Impossible movie since 4, the first, like, the Happy Gilmore 2 was good, like, there were so many things that I was like, "Yeah, there's no way that I would have known that I would have enjoyed that movie," you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, so all the times I talk shit about people, whether it's Chris Nolan or Sean Baker or whatever, I mean it when I say that every time I go to one of these, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I am never go into anything in bad faith. I've only gone into one movie ever in my life in bad faith, and that was Saltburn. And but like, serious. I'm serious when I say that, and I think that like a lot of what I saw this year were people. I think creative people are tired of being the center of their own universe. I think that's actually the main thing. Like, when you look at what is the Phoenician scheme about? What is Mission Impossible about? What is Caught Stealing about? It's about people, it's about characters who are realizing that there's something greater than them that makes life worth living, that makes the world work, that they may not understand, but that's not a threat to them. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the running theme. Basically, to put a three-letter word on it, like God, if you will, like some kind of higher power, whatever you want to call it, divine, the universe, whatever. That seems to be what a lot of these filmmakers in the last year or so have been at least exploring,
Mm-hmm.
and in this, I think that like a big problem right now in the world, the reason why things are kind of like so fucked up right now is because everybody is taking it upon themselves to understand everything that's going on and to be a an effective force against whatever this great obscure thing is that we're up against. And I think that the truth of the matter really is that like we'll never understand it. We can understand that it exists, and what may be the solution is to actually like support others versus it's the fucking Last Jedi. Instead of fighting what we hate, we should, save the thing we love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was really happy to see that kind of was the theme of 2025, cinematically speaking. Whether it was Ella McKay or Freaky Tales. Like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that Freaky Tales is literally just a movie about people supporting each other and accomplishing great things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Fun movie.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful movie.
Yeah.
Like wonderful movie.
Yeah.
And it starred Tom Hanks and fucking Pedro Pascal. Again, who the fuck would think that I would have liked that movie? And like, I couldn't sing its praises enough. I was a big fan of 2025, and I think that this was the perfect movie to go out on. And I'm glad I didn't see Anaconda until 2026.
There you go.
um,
There
so
you go. I think that's a good closing remark here on Song Blue. Joe, is there another movie you watched recently you'd like to recommend to our listeners?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I actually, So every year I kind of try to find like a filmmaker or an actor or whatever who's like is a blind spot for me.
Hmm.
I've seen a few of their things, but I want to feel like Spike Lee was a couple years ago. I'd seen like 5 Spike Lee movies, but there's 25, so I watched them all.
Hmm.
Steven Seagal was last year, and it's still trickling in. Like I just watched Belly of the Beast, his 2003 direct to video movie, and that's his best movie. It's
Oh my
incredible.
God.
But this year, so I guess you could throw that one in there. Like Belly of the Beast was the very last movie I watched before the ball dropped on New Year's Eve, actually. And again, you talk about like a good way to end 2025.
Woo.
Fantastic movie. But but I watched this year. It's Emilio Estevez.
Mm.
Um, and there's actually one of them that has been a blind spot. Stakeout. So John Badham, the guy who did, Bird on a Wire and stuff like that. It's his like action comedy with Richard Dreyfuss and from the late 80s, mid to late 80s, Richard Dreyfuss, Emilio Estevez, Aidan Quinn, Forrest Whitaker's in there a little bit too. Really great like buddy cop movie. I wish that Emilio was in it a little more. It's kind of more just about Richard Dreyfuss, but that was so terrific. And then I saw a movie called Late Last Night that was it was like a TV movie for stars that Stephen Brill,
Hmm.
an unsung genius of cinema, Stephen Brill, wrote and directed, that starred Emilio Estevez. It's basically their version of After Hours.
Okay.
Um, I actually watched it on YouTube because that's the only place I could find it, and not like the proper YouTube
Sure.
movie TV thing, but somebody uploaded it.
Yeah.
Um, just surprisingly wonderful, like a really great, just a really great, unheard of kind of. It's one of those too that if you went to Blockbuster between the year 1999 and 2008, you saw it with Emilio like holding out a martini
Hmm.
toward like the fucking camera. It's like that cover you recognize.
Okay.
But yeah, Late Last Night, Stakeout, and Steven Seagal's Belly of the Beast.
All
Those are
right.
yeah.
That is quite the recommendation list there, Joe. But tell people what you've got going on. You've been working on so many different things lately.
Holy cannoli. Yeah. We actually were very blessed. We did 3 movies back to back. I wrote and directed the third Natasha Hall film. It's called She's So Hot. David Rosen plays a pivotal role
Mm.
in the film. Pivotal.
Yes.
Um and so does this very podcast. And that's coming out soon. That is I think not only the best movie we've ever done, easily my favorite. It's such a I just got done with the dialogue mix on it. I cannot wait to show this movie to people. I'm just beaming from this movie. It's so wonderful. And then another project we got to do in October, a feature that I wrote 13 years ago, 14 years almost now. Finally got a green light from a producer named Jeff Miller, and the movie's called Badass Bear. And that's like just a really cool, fun little down in the dirt horror movie that we're excited about. And then Kat and I just wrapped on a production that we were helping out on, uh, that I was like the editor and art department on, and she was costumes, and called Jeffrey Dahmer, where the spirit of Jeffrey Dahmer goes into a little doll and
Hell yeah.
is killing people. That yeah, it's God damn it, I hate to say it, it's better than it has any right to be. It really does. But we've been very busy, and I'm gonna be editing another Friends feature here, and it looks like I'm gonna be shooting another film in March with, Daniel Roebuck, and, like, I think we finally, man, like, I'll tell you, I've been doing this now, I made my first feature 20 years ago in 2006, and since then, I've made 18 features, and I moved out to LA 14 years ago, and, it's looking like 2026 is gonna be the first official year where I'm gonna be earning all my income as a filmmaker for the first time,
That freaking
and,
rocks.
yeah, even if I just get this 1 year, I mean, like, where that becomes the case, then I'll fucking take it, man, like, it was well worth it, because my time in LA is coming to an end, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I've gotten what I can from it, and things are changing so much that I don't have to be held to it anymore, you know what I mean? And I have no regrets about being in LA. I've loved my time here. I've never liked being in LA though.
Mhm.
It's just not for me. But I'm just so grateful for everyone I've met and everything that we've accomplished. And I think that Badass Bear was the first movie I wrote the night I landed in Los Angeles. I wrote it and then we just gave up on it. And so it's kind of nice that that one finally came to be. That was the first one that, 13 years later an actual producer came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to make this movie."
Yeah.
And She's So Hot acts as my love letter to my time here, I suppose. So it's been a very rewarding, very difficult time, and I'm very excited about the future. You're going to be hearing a lot from us soon.
Awesome. Well, Joe, always great having you here and happy about all of the success and all of the stuff that you're doing. I can't wait to see it all. And of course, as always, I look forward to getting you back on the show soon.
Anytime. Let's talk Billy Jack.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Songs Sung Blue. Thank you to Joe Black for joining me on that one, and thank you to all of you for listening. If you're enjoying piecing it together, make sure you are subscribed wherever you're listening right now. You could also follow me on social media at PiecingPod, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, for a fun group of movie lovers who just want to have a great time talking about movies. Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces on Facebook. You can also check out my Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and my music career. Lots of great stuff over there at patreon.com/bydavidrosen. It's a great way to support the show and everything that I do. And with that said, let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And I got a perfect one for today, because you guys know my little comedy side project, the Pup Pups, all songs about my pets. There was a song, it was the closing track of the second Pup Pups album, Variety Snaps. It was by my little dog, Harvey. Rest in peace, Harvey. We love you so much. My best friend in the whole wide world. Well, he wanted to make a song that would kind of evoke the same feeling. I don't know how many people are fans of this one. It's from Neil Diamond's 12 Songs album, the album he made produced by Rick Rubin. It came out around 2005-ish, I want to say. An incredible album. There's a song called Hell Yeah, which is, kind of his I Did It My Way kind of song. Like, it's time for me to pass on, but hey, I had a great life. I kicked some ass. I was awesome. And Harvey wanted to do his version of that. It's called Rainbow Bridge, and I think that this is a song that we could say was definitely inspired by Neil Diamond. So we're going to close out with Rainbow Bridge from the Pup Pups from the second album, Variety Snaps. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
You hear my feet are tapping on the wood of that big bridge, and the light above is shining. Well, I guess that this is it. Don't shed a tear for me now, mommy. My time here, it is done. I've had my share of love and kisses, and of snacks and lots of fun. But now it's time to see my sister. You know how much I missed her. We'll run together like when we were kids, across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Oh well, the tennis balls are flying out across an open field. No leash or gate or even collar. Snackerinos after every meal. Don't shed a tear for me now, Daddy. I was yours and you were mine. We'll always be the best of friends. I'll see you up here when it's time. But now it's time to see my sister. You know how much I've missed her. We'll run together like when we were kids, across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge. Across the Rainbow Bridge.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.